So here again with the petunias, we're out here deadheading. We're trying to avoid the mosquitoes, but I wanted to touch on, the seasons of our lives, the part that the gardener, our Savior, deadheads. We talked about that still going on to serve a purpose for the insects and the fertilizer and all of those wonderful ways that Abba provided nature for us to work, and how that relates to our friends and family and associates that benefited from the beauty of the seasons that we're in, and we benefited from the seasons that they were in, and we benefited from the blooms and the blossoms and the energy and the life and the perfume and all of that. But there's also some great things that happen when our season of that is over. I don't know if it's the sunshine is too bright or if it's just the phone, but when the season of beauty and life and all the blossoms have come to an end, kind of like relationships and things like blossoms that don't serve us anymore in our lives, when all that comes to an end, it's really not the end. It's almost the beginning for other seasons and other parts of our lives. So what I'm showing you is, okay, so here's some roses that I've picked, and I try to dehydrate my flowers in the sun in my car. And so I have some marigolds, and I have some lilacs, and I have actually some blue iris leaves, dried roses, black petunias. So the purpose in showing you this is that when the blossoms fall off or are no longer serving and living, they have multiple purposes in our lives that Abba still uses, the gardener still uses. So sometimes I make rose water, or I make, like, here's some roses. Oops, here's some roses and rose petals that I use for potpourri. I don't know if you can see because of the lighting. And then I have a bunch of roses that I use as potpourri, and I actually sell it too. And you can dye with the marigolds. You can dye. I use the black petunias to dye with, a natural dye. I haven't done a lot of it. I'm just now getting into it. And also, of course, we know the master gardener. He has his designated purpose that unless a seed dies and falls to the ground, then no more can come up. So the purpose of those seasons and that beauty of the flower, it's not over. We still get to dye. We still get to enjoy the lessons that came from that blossom of our life. We still get to enjoy the good memories, the perfume. We get to create with the colors and the seeds. We get to plant more. We get to build new relationships and new memories. And we have the beautiful fragrances of our past. We can make teas. So I have these flowers. These are all dead-headed flowers that I make teas with. It smells so good. Also, I sell that. The eucalyptus. Oh, my lands. I love the eucalyptus leaves. So here's our eucalyptus. And it's dried. That's the plant, and it's dried. I decorate my home with that. And that eucalyptus leaves right there, it just is so profuse. I use that for some aromatherapy or sachets. Here's some rose petals. or rose leaves. Oh my lands, they smell so good. We create art with it. So even though the season of the flower, in all its beauty and glory, is faded and gone in that aspect, there's so many more beautiful outcomes and projects and memories and lessons learned and ways and experience that we can keep on producing in our lives. And isn't that just so miraculous that our Father is such a good Father that He gives us more and more and more creativity and more purpose and more pleasure. Sometimes after that season has ended and the blossoms have faded, our friends and our families, they get to experience those memories, the pollinators. We get to take those precious little pearls with us like treasures. Oh, life is beautiful. There's my little turkey. Have a good day, guys.